Let's talk about three simple ways to improve any relationship. So, the reason I came up with this topic was because my husband and I were talking, and he was detailing some of the things that business owners forget to do that cost them like 30% of their revenue, potential revenue a year. And I'm like, well, it's not just business owners, it's all of us. So I tweaked his points a little bit and I'm bringing them to you. Let's say you're a mom and you want to have a great relationship with your kids. These three tips will work. Let's say you're a teacher and you want your students to, well, to like you. I almost worded this three ways to get most people to love you. That is how powerful these tips can be when they're applied with the right motivation. In fact, let's just talk about that for a second. Three ways to get most people to love you. Why would I say in the world, three ways to get most people to love you? Because people tend to love back those who love them. So if we are loving towards somebody, people tend to reciprocate. Now, this is not 100% true. Some people have been deeply hurt. Some people have no room in their life for love because of hardness of heart or trauma in the past. And then there are people who are just not our cup of tea or we're not their cup of tea. But Dale Carnegie wrote the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. And there are several tips in there. I haven't read it for a while. Maybe some of these come from this, but this is very 21st century specific. So here's the amazing thing. You guys are going to love this. Relationships are not complicated. We do overcomplicate them because we get mixed up in what's in our lane and what's in somebody else's lane. But relationships themselves are not complicated if we remember a few things. Like if we are differentiating in our mind and in our heart between what we want and what somebody else is wanting. And when we drop the human impulse to people please, and when we will be ourselves. You know, we this is the craziest thing is that to get people to like us, sometimes we pretend to be other people. And then it's like, well, they might, but we wouldn't know if they're liking us or not because they don't know the real us. So those are kind of the big pictures. You do need to be authentically yourself. You do need to understand the principles of unconditional love. This is more tongue in cheek, how to make most people love you. And the reason these three simple tips will do wonders in your life and in your relationships, to, say it like that, is because two reasons. Number one, so many people are so hungry to feel seen, heard, and cherished. They're dying for connection. And number two, with all of our social media ways, nothing can trump that in-person connection. So I am going to give you just three areas to focus on very specifically to either make more people love you or to improve a relationship. Okay. So tip number one, and they're all going to be communication tips. Okay. Because that is what brings connections, communication. So tip number one, focus on quality versus quantity. As in, when you're with somebody, you be 100% present. How rare is that? And how hard is it getting to be? There are so many distractions going on. This is one of the reasons why it's not my favorite thing to meet a new person at a busy restaurant because there's so much noise and distraction in the background. In fact, I love doing a Zoom call sometimes because it's like I can hone right in. I can listen to her, she can listen to me, and it's just the two of us. Or maybe a quieter coffee house, and we can get a table and we can just connect on a deep level. Now, what are the obstacles to this? Cell phone interruptions. 100%. This is the problem. Is we're going to get notifications. You guys, if you will just do this, you will make the people in your life feel so much more significant to you. Number one, put your phone away. Just when it comes, put it away, silence it if you possibly can. Now, if you're in a position that you cannot do that, say you're a mom getting together with a girlfriend and you also need to keep the phone on in case the babysitter has an emergency or your kids have an emergency, then say that to the person ahead of time. I'd like to shut off my phone so we can focus on each other. However, I need to leave it on in case of emergency. If your phone does interrupt you and you have to look at it, and then come back to it, treat it like an interrupting waiter. Like, sorry, 1 second. What is it you wanted? Oh, no, we don't need more water. Okay, sorry. 1 second. Let me look at my phone. Okay, it's nothing. I'm sorry for that. Let's get back to our conversation. Be intentional. Quality will trump quantity every day of the week. Think about it with our kids. I know so many moms feel so much guilt over, am I spending enough time with my kids? Or, I'm never doing enough. And now is she telling me to put my phone down all the time and never have my phone out with kids? No, I'm not doing that. That is not what I'm saying. I'm saying have on quality time and off time. You as a mom need a break too. Give yourself that. Step out of the room, take a bathroom break, take your phone with you, chill out for a couple of minutes, step into the next room, right? And also during certain times, undivided attention. It feels like an amazing gift that you gave to somebody, and it cost you nothing. Nothing, because you're already there with your time anyway. So just give them your attention. So that's quality versus quantity. That's the tip. Quality versus quantity. If you're with somebody and you want to improve the relationship, you want it to be an amazing one, you want them to love you, you want to show that you love them, then give them quality, focused time. It sounds simple, but this is literally a muscle that has to be developed. We have been so distracted in this digital age that maybe 5 minutes of quality time is going to feel like wow to somebody who has had none. Okay. So think about it that way. The people that you want to know that you love them and they matter to you, put some quality time in the schedule for them every single week. Again, does not have to be a lot of time. It just has to be quality to them time. And I would think that quality might be individual. So just keep that in mind, okay? I haven't thought about that, but it popped up. So I wanted to share it with you. Okay. Number 2, how to make most people love you. I'm laughing every time I'm saying this because it's not that we're manipulating people, it's that we're feeding a very real need in their life. And it's just unbelievable how we all just skip over the simple things sometimes. So, and this is one of them. Another communication tip. Tip number 2, timely communication versus urgent communication. My daughter was talking about this just yesterday. She said, I was running late to jujitsu, and she said, I let them know ahead of time, hey, I'm running late. And that's called timely. You're letting somebody know ahead of time. Urgent is when you run into the class and you're like, sorry, everybody, I'm late. Da, 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 da. You're breaking everybody else's focus, bringing it towards you, making a big deal. Another example of timely versus urgent communication. And this is a friend and I were talking about this. And oh my goodness, you guys, I used to make this mistake all the time until I understood what was going on. So this is why I want to share this example with you. At work, you are trying to get along. I'm trying to get along. I'm trying to be a good teammate. I'm trying to be, pleasant and supportive. But the boss is saying something and it's annoying me and it's not going to work. And there's a problem. And I'm like, no, 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 it's not really that big of a deal. And I shush myself and I shush my instinct and I don't speak up in the meeting. And it happens again. And it's like, no, 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 not a big deal. We're telling ourselves it's not a big deal when it is a big deal. And around the third or fourth time, all of a sudden, we snap because it is a big deal. And we've been trying to tell ourselves it's not a big deal, but it kind of is a big deal. They kind of need to know about it. So we say it out of frustration. We say it out of urgency. We say it emotionally. And what happens on the other side of this? This is so annoying. This is why I'm sharing this. They don't take us seriously because we were emotional about it. That's what I mean about timely versus urgent communication. Say it early and say it in a way. If something needs to be said, then say it and say it earlier rather than waiting until it becomes an emotional, I must say something now. And I almost can't control my words now because I'm so upset about it. This is another skill that we need to work on. This is, in fact, here's another example. I learned this when we were missionaries in France. We were actually over there to study French before we went to Senegal. And our daughter, Emma, had just been born. And the nursery workers told us, the new parents, tell your child what you plan to do, even the babies. Hey, kids, I'm going to drop you off at the nursery and the mommy's going to come back and pick you up in 4 hours. I don't know if they just said this to everybody or if they just noticed that we as Americans didn't do. I don't know if it's an American thing versus a French thing, but they were like, because your kids need to know what's going on. And so don't just drop them off. Then they cry. Let them know what's going on ahead of time and let them know that it's a good thing. Hey, this is what to expect. And we're coming back and we're going to pick you up. It's going to be fine. It's going to be great. Timely communication. It's like setting expectations ahead of time, or it's letting people know while there's time to let them know. I'm thinking of an example, you guys. So our family just watched the latest Mission Impossible movie. It's a 2-part one. This was the first part. Okay. This is what kills me. This happens all the time in life, too, ironically. Somebody has been told some huge information. They are the only people on the planet that knows this piece of information. They're the only people that can share it. And they don't. They go their whole life without sharing it. And then they die. And there's this death scene where they're trying to get the words and they can't possibly do it. They whisper one vague word that it's going to now take half of part 2 of the movie to figure out what that word means. But we do this with our loved ones too. We don't say the hard things, the things that mean the most to us in the time that we have to say it. So then we're standing at somebody's deathbed trying to get the words out. Or we don't give them details. Like, hey, after I'm gone, this is what you can expect. Here's our will. Here's our details. I worked for a financial advisor. I can't tell you. I was literally stunned at how many people did not have end of life conversations about how they wanted their estate managed before the end of their life. Timely communication. Timely communication shows somebody you care. And sometimes you might just need to want to say that. I'm going to give you another little script. Say you do have a frustration with your boss and you want to have a good relationship. Okay, this is hard for me to talk about, but I think it's important for my benefit and for your benefit that I tell you blah, blah, blah. Just put it out there. It's hard. Can we talk about this? I I've got a couple of concerns and I don't want to not voice them and grow frustrated. I know I'll be frustrated if I ignore this. I think we need to talk about this. Can we talk about this? Can we talk about it? Timely versus urgent? Your message will be heard so much better if you speak it in a timely manner. Okay. And the third tip is, so the first tip was quality over quantity. The second tip, oh, by the way, I want to say this on quality versus quantity. Have you ever said, as a parent, I've told my kids 1,000 times, da, 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 da. My grandma tells the story. Sorry, you guys, I'm laughing about this. My grandma tells the story of the time that she was telling my mom, she goes, Cindy, you need to, and she said, you need to be brushing your hair, brushing your teeth, pick up your toys, put your pajamas away, all this. And she said, I could just see her eyes just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And she wasn't saying anything. And she goes, do you understand what I'm saying? She said it that fast. And she said, my mom nodded her head. I said, and she's like, I knew she didn't understand what I was saying. So I said, well, then what did I say? Tell me what I said. And Cindy goes, that's my favorite story. Quality over quantity. The younger they are, the fewer the words. Kids, grab your backpacks. Kids, get in the car in 5 minutes. You don't want to be saying, kids, we're going to be late. What are we doing? What needs to be done? Da, 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 da. Never ask 2 questions back to back. Nobody can answer 2 questions back to back, especially if you ask a question where the right answer is yes, and the next question, the answer should be no. People do this all the time. We really need to slow down our communication. 1 question at a time. Be aware. Quality over quantity. And then the second one is timeliness versus urgency. Don't wait until the last minute. Don't always be communicating with an urgent tone. Urgency makes fearfulness, which sometimes makes people pay attention a little bit more, like they perk up. But then it also becomes like, the boy who cried wolf. And we just don't like, it's just not fun to be in an urgent mood all the time. So make a timely communication. When's the best time to communicate this? Let's let people know ahead of time so they can prepare, because some people don't like changes. All right. And the third tip is make it as personal as possible instead of general, vague, everyone. I have seen teachers do this all the time. Great work, everyone. I'm so proud of you. Let me tell you what that means to the class. Nothing. Should have saved your words. It's so much better to say, good job, Johnny. I noticed that you cleaned off your desk. Great job, Mary. I noticed you didn't talk in the hallway. Great job. And make it specific and put a name to it. You guys, I was watching, of all things, last night. I've kind of been obsessed lately. Reruns of Hell's Kitchen. Okay. Talk about communication problems if you've ever seen it. But there is this one point when this brand new baby chef is trying to get everybody's attention. And she's like, everybody, how much time do we need? How much time? How much time? It's like, hun, say one person's name. John, How much time? We pay attention to our name. Make your communication personal. In fact, positive communication, make as personal as possible. Negative communication, think about it. In fact, I was just talking with a client recently, and I said it's very helpful when you're communicating with people to say you when you're praising and to say we when you're pointing out a mistake. It just kind of takes the pressure off a little bit. But notice people. Take the time to notice what they've done. Give them, see, you hear all through this how to make most people love you. Just give them attention, positive regard. This is not like manipulation. This is not faking. One of the things that I tried to do, and I think I've said it before on the podcast, simplest thing in the world, but I'm shocked at how much it means to people. I just try to look people in the eye and smile at them. A genuine, I am glad to see you smile. Whether that's somebody standing on the street, somebody I'm passing in the grocery store, I'm amazed at how many smiles I get back in return. There's a tiny little bit of slowing of a moment. And I'm really surprised at how many people will take the time to say, you have a beautiful smile. And I'm like, oh, well, thank you. People are starving for attention. I don't know that I can say it any better than that. People are starving for attention. They will love the person who gives them attention. And you do not have to exhaust yourself, burn yourself out in giving people attention. But if you're going to be around these people, give them your full attention and then be off. I was listening to one of Myron Golden's Bible studies yesterday, and he said, I love people. Sometimes I love them up close, and sometimes I love them far away. And I'm like, that. So when you're with people, be with them. When you're with someone, be with him, be with her. Full attention, quality versus quantity. This is how we can train a new generation. Hey, listen, kids, my 8-year-old son, I'm going to put my phone away because what you've got to say about your day is important to me. And then I'm going to turn to my next child and ask him or her, tell me about your day. Take the time. Start with 5 minutes. See what happens when you give someone 5 minutes of your undivided time and attention. I have seen this as one of the greatest failings in the church. That even in the church, and one of the greatest benefits of the church, is when churches that struggle, and a lot of times it's because the leader, the pastor, struggles to be authentic and vulnerable himself. I have seen great men of God preachers who struggle to do this. And their church is a revolving door of people coming in and out. And what's amazing is it doesn't take much. It just takes, when I'm with you, even if it's just a couple of minutes. And you're important to me. And even if we don't talk often, when we do talk, it's important. I'm thinking of 2 different pastors from my past. One, I would say he was a true pastor because he was gifted at this. That church, which was kind of in the middle of nowhere and should not have been the size that it was growing at a steady, consistent rate because he was gifted in this one quality, the quality of giving, showing people he cared through his attention. Amazing. And I'm not saying like babysit them, because people need it and they're needy and da. No, that's the path to burnout. You got to clean that up. But then another pastor who just struggled with allowing people to be close because he was afraid of being hurt. And there was reasons in his past why he was afraid of being hurt, but because he had never cleaned that up, he was afraid of showing people his real human side, just being with them. He always, you could just see, it feels like it has to be a performance. Like you always have to be on instead of just be yourself. And the church, as far as I know, to this day is still a revolving door, keeping the same number. Lots of people coming in and quietly, lots of people drifting out. Like I said, how to make most people love you? Just show them they're seen, heard, and cherished. And it doesn't take a lot of time. Quality over quantity, timely over urgent, and personal versus general. Okay. I hope this has helped. If you have any questions, I'd be glad to hear them. Until next week. Bye bye.